So Max, thank you so much for joining the Franchise Legends interview. And we just have a few questions for you. And tell us a little bit about yourself, Max.
Absolutely, Dela. Thanks so much for having me on. I'm fired up to join you today, and I'm just excited for the opportunity. So, my name is Max Finocchi. I'm the Director of Consultant Relations over at Rhino7 Franchise Development, and I've been over at Rhino7 for about the past 3 years. In my career, I've probably worked with at least 15 different franchise brands, and I just love helping people get into the best franchise brands that fit their lives.
Yeah, well, that is just exciting to hear. So on this Franchise Legends podcast, that's why we asked you, Max, to join us, because we know you have so much experience in the franchising world. So thank you so much for being here. And I'm just curious, could you share a little bit more about your background and what drove you to specialize in franchising?
Yeah, so it's actually I'm coming from a little bit different of a background. I went to school up in New York. I played rugby there. I still play rugby now. But before I got into franchising, I was actually in the hospitality in the hotel industry, and I was working as a general manager over at a local hotel. So it wasn't a franchise, but I kind of understood how these business operations works, how it works when you get that general manager in place to a business to kind of run the day to day and how they interact with the owner of the business. And it was kind of interesting coming from the front side, the front lines of a business to coming in the back ends into the franchise world and really seeing behind the scenes.
Oh, wow. What a perspective you have then to be on the front lines and then come to the back end, which may somehow relate to rugby, right?
Yeah, definitely a little bit of that team aspect there. Definitely overcoming some challenges. It's I feel like the experiences leading up to me coming out and getting in the franchise world kind of prepared me to hit the ground running.
Yes, absolutely. So why Rhino 7? I'm just curious. And the work that Rhino 7 does, maybe the mission or something what drew you to Rhino 7?
I love how kind of oriented and how close Rhino 7 is. We're not a huge corporation. We're not owned by private equity or anything like that. We're very small. We care a lot about the relationships that we build with these different franchisors. We care a lot about these clients, these candidates that we have coming in, looking at the businesses, and just awesome coming in and being able to come so close to Doug Shadle, our CEO, and just meet everyone here over at Rhino 7. And not only that, but just to work with all the awesome different brands we get to help. So it's
Yes.
just a cool perspective to be in so many different industries and be in a team with such experience, but being close enough to really know everyone and not just feel like I'm a cog in a wheel with tons and tons of employees in a massive company. So it's cool. And I also feel like I can help out the common man coming in, helping them reach their goals, helping them really improve their lives and really chase their dreams.
Wow, that really makes a lot of sense. It sounds like the connection piece is very important to you, that connection to the franchisors and connection to your team. And that's really what is meaningful and purposeful for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like life is all about relationships, and especially in business, that's all about relationships as well. So everyone's just trying to help each other out. That's
Yes,
the best way the world's going to keep growing.
there you go. Put good in, get good out.
Absolutely.
I'm curious, how does Rhino 7 separate or differentiate itself from other franchise consulting or development firms?
Yeah, so Rhino 7, we've actually been in the franchise development game for about over 25 years now. So we were actually one of the first people to get into it, one of the first franchise development organizations, or FSO, if you want to call it. Our first brand really back in the day was Great Clips. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
cool that we've got some massive brands that
Yeah.
have really grown, but to kind of see them from the start, see them become a franchise and have other people come in and join that system.
Yeah,
And
so
then,
that growth process is also very motivating, it sounds like, for those that join under the Rhino umbrella and receive your consultant and those types of services that you offer. Uh, what services would you say that Rhino specifically offers for that first contact or lead generation and candidate placement for the franchisors?
yeah, well, first off, in the franchisor, before they even go out and they're looking for the new candidates, we really want to get their system ready, get their machine finely tuned, and really get them primed and ready to grow. So we can take the step. We'll take a business. We specialize in emerging brands, but we'll take even a local business and take them every step along the way to become a franchise. So they might not have any franchise knowledge at all, but they're experts in that operation. So we can partner with them. They know their business really well. We know franchising really well, and it just makes it a powerful partnership. We can set their FDD up nice. We've got relationships with other franchise groups to go, and we have a lot of consultants that we work with that will send over their great candidates to us, and we just try and prime them up to get them ready to go and launch. And then once they launch, we get them ready to keep growing, and keep scaling.
That's exciting to hear. I really enjoy learning about Rhino7 and the work you do there, Max. I'm curious on developing the infrastructure and the sales systems. You pointed to systems and the territory strategies. So it sounds like growth is just part of the Rhino7 system. And I'm just curious, can you walk us through a typical engagement with a brand?
Yeah, yeah. So I remember one of the questions I asked on the interview when I first came to Rhino years ago is I asked Doug, how many brands do you talk to a year? Because I was curious how he narrows it down, how he decides on we want to go and grow. And he told me, and this was 3 years ago, so he might even be talking to more now, but he talked to over 150 different franchisors or different local businesses a year.
Right.
So we are selective. We're looking for something that's unique, something that could be replicatable, and then something that someone else could go get the system and kind of run with it. So if it's a business where the owner knows everyone in town, he's got all these relationships, he's the mayor, it's not going to work the same for someone else coming in to try and run that model, because they're not set up like he is. But if it's a model where anyone with the general manager can come in and kind of run with that blueprint, that's what we look for. So some people that will come to look for us, sometimes they're a few years out, and we'll tell them, hey, you guys are on the right path, but we'll give them a little bit of advice to keep growing, and then come back in 2 years and you're going to be ready to franchise. Some people are ready right away. Some people are far away from it. They don't really have what we're looking for.
Sure.
But
And that really, I'm sure your consultant really helps them refine their value proposition and really helps them understand their marketplace and the storytelling that connects there. So that's really exciting. I am curious on Rhino7, how do you place emphasis on the education for potential franchisees?
so we want to make it, we don't want to be throwing them curveballs, or we don't want to sell them a dream that's not possible. So we want to give them all the information as possible. We want to make things as clear as they can be about the business, because we want the right franchisees coming in and joining our system. So before we've got a whole sales investigation process, but before we even talk to the candidate, we've got an entire educational portal that we will send out in the email once they know that they're interested, so they can kind of review all the operations and review everything that they want into the business, so they can go into that first call and either they say, oh, this isn't for me, or they've got all the information, they're primed, and they've got some questions that they want to ask right away. So we just want to create it as clear of a process as possible. We list out the steps and let them know how long it's going to be, what the different things we're going to cover, what each call will be called, or what each call will focus on, and really just kind of guide them along that investigation, give them all the information they need to make a good decision.
Yeah. Well, that really sounds like you help balance that for candidates, that initial enthusiasm they may have for joining the team, and then ensuring that they're making informed decisions moving forward. I just think that that's so great. And from your perspective, what does success look like for both the franchisors Rhino7 represents and the consultants you partner with?
So for the franchisors that we represent, I'd say success looks like a machine that continues to run. It's smooth. Obviously, any kind of business in the world, there's going to be fires to put out, but kind of the smoother the system you have set up, the better you're going to be equipped to deal with those fires. So if we have the franchisees coming in, the new ones, the training program rolling, the current operating franchisees, we've got their support in place, and they're happy, they're validating well, they're making a lot of money, they're feeling successful, they're loving their lifestyles, and then the better we can support the franchisors, the better the franchisees are supported in their success. Where they're a lot of their success, I'd say, for the franchisees, the money is a big part of it, but a bigger part is their lifestyle. They want to live a certain way, whether they're working a job and they're looking to build something else on the side, or they got laid off and they're just looking for a new chapter in their life. They're looking to dive into the business and fully own or operate it. We want to make them live that lifestyle that they dream of. If they want to go and watch their kids' baseball game at night, they don't have to be stuck in the office because they own that business. They've got control on their lifestyle.
Wow, that is such great advice, and that seems so effective for matching the right owners with the right brands. So thank you so much. I really enjoy hearing about that. So what do you think is next for Rhino7? Maybe some new tools, maybe new markets, expanded services. I'm just curious about that.
So we definitely recently we've launched a few new brands. So we're going and we're expecting those to really start going and scale. But we're looking to bring in even more brands. We've got 7 right now. We're probably looking to get that around 10, around 12 by the end of the year.
Okay.
So a couple more brands rolling out in a few different industries. Definitely some in the home service, some in the medical, maybe something a little more unique, a little more niche down. It would be a good one to add into our portfolio.
So I have a weird question for you. If you were to look at a prospective franchise buyer, sometimes they overlook certain things. And is there any red flags that franchisors or franchise buyers watch out for in early stages?
I'd say a red flag is kind of the people who are really looking just to, I don't want to say just to make an investment, but they want to write a check out. They want to go kick their feet up, go to the beach, start smoking cigars, and start collecting their dividends. And
Sure.
if there's a business like that in the world, I'd love to know, because I'd put some money in it.
Let's all jump on board.
So really just kind of we want to get the right expectations right up front. And then if people think that they're going to come in and be able to not do any work, then that is a red flag. Now people can build systems. They can get things in place. People have done it before. Some people are coming in and they've got a lot of experience with those systems. So I'm not saying that's not impossible, but it takes some work to set those systems up.
Absolutely. Yeah. Those processes are always what prove the proof in the pudding, right?
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. Is there a certain tool or a book or maybe a podcast that you kind of rely on or that you would suggest to franchise leaders?
I mean, I do watch some stuff on YouTube, but honestly, all the best advice I always get, and kind of the most knowledge I get is talking one on one, making connections with people who have been in it longer than I have. People who've been in it for 5 years, people who've been in 10 years. Just the amount I've learned just physically talking with someone else is so much more than I've learned from reading a book or checking the podcast. And it's good. There's good information online 100%, but nothing's gonna meet that actual experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Experience is always, it never really expires, right? Well,
It just keeps building up.
absolutely. It has a compound effect. Well, Max, I am just so happy that you were able to join our Legends podcast today. And I feel that the advice and the information that you shared will really connect with our listeners who are potentially looking into the franchise process, or maybe already in it and just needing some encouragement that their processes and systems are continuing to grow. So thank you so much, Max. We really appreciate you being a part of this podcast, and we thank you to Rhino7 for also all the work that you're doing and putting in good and getting good back out.
Absolutely, Dela. Thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure to join you, and I'd love to do it again sometime.